Have you ever considered that the voice in your head, the one constantly overthinking, complaining, and talking to itself might not be you at all? If I told you that you've been treating a thief as the master of your house this whole time, would it make your skin crawl? Today, we dive into the Shurangama Sutra to deconstruct this fatal error. The opening, a fatal error of identity. Hello everyone, and welcome. Today we're discussing one of the most soul-stirring dialogues in the Shurangama Sutra. This conversation wasn't just for Ananda 2000 years ago. It was written for every one of us today. In the first volume, the Buddha gives Ananda a heavy, almost startling critique. He calls it mistaking the thief for one's son, while son is the literal word. In this context, it refers to the self. The Buddha is telling Ananda, all this time, you have mistaken your delusions for yourself. Today, let us follow the dialogue between the Buddha and Ananda to identify this thief lurking within our lives. Round 1 DIC. But where is the mind? To enlighten Ananda, the Buddha makes a gesture. He raises his golden arm, bends his fingers, and forms a fist. The Buddha asks, do you see this? Ananda answers honestly, I see it. The Buddha asks, what do you see? Ananda says, my mind and eyes clearly see the Buddha as fist. The Buddha presses further. What exactly is it that does the seeing? Ananda takes it for granted, like everyone else. I use my eyes to see. Friends, if you were there, you'd think he was right. How else do you see if not with your eyes? But the Buddha immediately hits the nail on the head. You say the eyes see. But how does your mind function in this? Ananda thinks for a moment and gives what he believes is the perfect answer. Since you are asking where my mind is, I am currently using my mind to reason, to search, and to discern. That thing which is capable of reasoning and discerning, that must be my mind, right? At that moment, the Buddha shouts, stop. Ananda, that is not your mind. Round 2 Why the reasoning one isn't you? Ananda stood up in terror. He couldn't grasp it. If this thing that thinks, reasons, and distinguishes right from wrong isn't my mind, then what is? Am I just a mindless piece of wood or stone? The Buddha explains, that is but the conceptualization of external appearances. It dilutes your true nature, making it impossible for you to recognize what your true nature actually is. Let us break this down. The thief the Buddha refers to is delusion or wandering thoughts. What is delusion? As the master explains in plain language, it is a definition you create by retrieving information you've previously seen, heard, or felt. For example, as you listen to this podcast, you think, this makes sense or this is too deep. That thought making the judgment is exactly what Ananda called the reasoning and discerning mind. But the Buddha says these are just shadows of external objects. Because there is sound, you produce the discrimination of hearing. Because there is a fist, you produce the reasoning of seeing. If you take this thinking process which must rely on external environments to exist as yourself, then you are mistaking the thief for the self. Ananda argues, Buddha, I left home to follow you because my heart loves you. I make offerings and do good deeds even if I were to commit a mistake. I'd be using this mind. If it isn't my mind, then I have no awareness at all. Ananda's fear is our fear. If we stop reasoning and overthinking, do we still exist? Round 3. The independence of the true mind. To help Ananda understand, the Buddha presents a hardcore logical point. He says, Ananda, contemplate this carefully. The true mind possesses inherent awareness. It is independent. It does not need to lean on phenomena, external objects to exist. He gives 2 examples. Discrimination based on sound. You are listening to me now because there is sound. If the sound vanishes, does your thought that discriminates sound also vanish? Internal quietude. Some say, I'll close my eyes and plug my ears. My inner mind is very quiet. The Buddha says, that is just you discriminating images in your memory. You are still accessing a database of the past. It is still a shadow of external things. The true mind is inherently aware. It doesn't need to borrow from external scenes. If you define mind as the act of retrieving past images of seeing and hearing, you are relying on things that are not permanent, things that arise and die in an instant. If your mind depends on these fleeting phenomena, then when the phenomena die, your mind dies with them. That is not the realization of the unborn Dharma. At this point, Ananda and the assembly were lost. They realized that the self they had been clutching their whole lives was merely a projection of past information, a total hallucination. We call summary. Why haven't you succeeded? Finally, we must face the most brutal truth the Buddha pointed out. The Buddha tells Ananda, the reason practitioners in this world cannot extinguish all afflictions even if they reach high levels of meditation is because they mistake this fleeting, arising and ceasing delusion for the true mind. You, Ananda, are currently only memorizing the Dharma without practicing it, which is why you cannot achieve the fruit of sainthood. Ananda was chasing the reasoning thing, but the Buddha wanted him to experience the wondrous bright true mind, that which manifests all phenomena but does not live or die with them. VI. Conclusion. Finding the lost self. Friends, after hearing this, let us reflect. Every day we say, I feel, I think, I can't stand this. Is that I who is roaring, agonizing, and desperately trying to use logic really as? According to the Shurangama Sutra, no. That is just a thief. It is just your brain retrieving past traumatic experiences and secular standards to produce a series of delusions. When you mistake delusion for yourself, you are swept away by these thoughts, falling into endless cycles of worry. As the master says, because you always mistake delusions for yourself and chase illusions, you lose sight of your spiritual mind, leading to endless reincarnation. So, if this reasoning one isn't me, where is the true me? Ananda was stunned by this question, and perhaps you are too. But remember, realizing that the thief is not you is the first step toward awakening. Next time your mind starts spinning with endless overthinking, try saying to that thought, you're just a thief, you aren't me. Thank you for listening to this analysis of the Shurangama Sutra, shared by the Australia Buddha Light Association. We'll see you next time.